So here we have Apollo, and this is going to be Apollo's go home video. This video can be utilized when he comes home to continue his training. We are working in a distracting setting out and about at a store, so this way he is going to mess up, and the reason for that is so you can use this video when he comes home to correct and keep his training on track and know how to work through any mess ups that may happen. So he's a little distracted right now, and the cue is, well, he looked right at me, but if he weren't to have looked at me, I would go and get his attention by making some noise. The cue's in that hammer focus. And what I'm going to start with is his sits and downs. So sit, hand gesture up, good boy, as if I'm lifting his nose to the sky. I'll do that again. Sit. Not going to repeat it, got a little distracted, that's really great. Just holding that hand signal for good boy. And again, cueing in his handler focus with some noises. I'm going to reward when he looks at me with positive mark words such as yes, good, good boy, things like that. Sit. So next what we're going to do is his downs. So we're going to start with putting him into a sit and then telling him down and wait until he goes nice, flat, and relaxed. Good boy. So if he were kind of arched up or on his back, I would not reward that. We want a nice proper down, and that means his belly's to the floor, nice, flat, and relaxed. When he is in his sit, if he was batting at me or anything like that, I'm not going to give the treat until all paws are on the floor, and then we reward that behavior. Sit, down, good boy. We'll do it down from a stand, down, good boy. As he gets stronger and stronger with that, you'll be able to stand straight up just like I do with the sits. Sit. Down. So when he doesn't follow through, I just say and then I just hold my hand there, letting him nibble and lick the treat. Now keep in mind, if he stares at me and he doesn't want to follow through, instead of just giving up or sitting there repeating the command, I can go back to that lure phase, which means I'm letting him chew the treat and using the treat to put him into the position that I'm looking for. Good boy. That's a positive way, and you may have to take some of those steps back and go into that lure phase just to keep it positive and kind of get him used to you and what you're asking of him. But it's all about keeping it positive and fun for Apollo. Sit. For this part of Apollo's go home video, we are going to do his leash walking and then demonstrate and explain what it is we're doing as we go along. As you can see in the distance there, we have another one of our training pups. So it might be distracting, and that's great. We want him to be able to work through a distracting setting. So I'm going to start by taking that treat and just letting him nibble on it as we walk. And then when I change directions, I'll say this way. Good boy. Making noises to cue in his focus as needed. Good boy. Yes. Using those positive mark words. This way. Yes. Good boy. This way. So it's important to note that if Apollo goes out in front of me, which you'll see he'll do here. Yep, he's doing really good with this. Good boy. If he goes out in front of me, I'm going to stop walking. Let him hit the end of the leash, and I'd say easy before he does that. So let's see if I can mix him up a little. See if he won't do it. Let's see if I do a little bit more distance. He's got great hand eye focus. He's walking really good on the leash. If he were to go on in front of me and the leash went off, I would say, easy, let him hit the end of that leash and wait for slack. So if me making a noise doesn't cue him in enough to come back to my left side, what I would do is take that treat and reposition him with the treat. You will never see me pulling Apollo back with the leash. That actually teaches him to pull harder. So instead what you would see is he's out in front of me, I would take that treat, bring it to my left side, and reposition him again with the treat and not the leash. Another thing to note is if he goes to the wrong side like he just did there, again, taking that treat would bring him to the correct side before we continue walking. The luring is just to keep him with me, keep his focus. It helps build really strong leash walking so that down the road you can introduce the heel command. But it's just letting him nibble on that treat. Good boy. Using that again just to put him wherever I want him to be. Good boy. And giving him that treat every so many steps. Sometimes he'll stop to chew up the treat, and that's fine. We want it to be that he enjoys the treat, but then he gets his focus right back after. This way. Good boy. Good. So we're going to do a couple walking up and downs, and you'll see if he messes up. That's great. This video is meant to show him messing up so you know how to work forward from it. So this way. Good boy. This way. Good. Good. This way. This way. Good boy. Apollo, sit. Good boy. Down. Good boy. So here we have Apollo, and for this part of his go home video, we're going to do his kennel and wait. We're going to do it in a distracting environment here at this local store. Take a treat, toss it right in, telling him kennel. This is obviously a new crate to him, so it'll be very similar to when he goes home. So as you see, he kind of stops halfway in. Just closing him in, kind of doing a little bit of a push on his butt is perfectly fine. You wait till he finishes the treat, and then I would tell him wait. When he goes to barge out. Okay, good boy. And then we use that universal release word of okay. So we'll do it again. Make it another treat. Or he might just even go right on in. Okay. Showing us some yummy. Toss that right in. Again, this crate's new to him, so we're gonna give him time, have that positive reward waiting in there for him. Close him on in there. Keeping it super positive. I want him to go in kind of on his own accord, but if he needs a little bit of assistance, that's fine. Just keeping it nice and gentle. Again, telling him wait. Wait. Okay. Good boy. Good job. So we'll do it one more time. Another thing to note is always crating Apollo on an empty tank. We don't want him to have any accidents. To set him up for the best success, making sure he goes potty. Good boy, Camel. Before you put him in the crate for any long period of time, making sure he goes all the way in there. Scoot your little booty. There we go. Again, wait until he finishes that treat. Always creating him with something to do to keep him occupied and help the time pass quicker, as well as having something in the bottom of the crate makes him much more comfortable and helps with his hip and joint health down the road. Telling him wait. Okay. Good boy. Good job. Another thing we could do is take a crate safe toy. I'll toss that in there, something that I would crate him with. Again, waiting to give him that wait command until he is focused on me and not the toy. Toss it in, telling him kennel. Good boy. So it'd be the same exact thing with the toy, just instead of a treat and filling up the tank, we're giving him a toy and something that's exciting. Again, wait until he finishes that treat, telling him wait. So when he goes to barge out, saying if he were to get out all the way, I would grab him, put him right back in there. This way he doesn't think he got away with that. Telling him wait. Okay, good boy. Good job. And then we're gonna end this with a quick sit. Good boy. And lots of praise. Good job. For this part of Apollo's go home video, you can see us working on his sit and down stays. I give him the sit command, a flat open hand saying stay, and then create some distance between him and I, and then give that release word of okay. Sit, stay, and down stay are structured commands. So once given that sit and stay, he has to hold that position in that same spot. When he goes to prematurely break away, I say and then I pick him up, I take him back to the same spot, put him back in that same position of a sit or down, and then starting over with that stay command. Okay, yes, it's a good boy. Good job.
The reason why I pick him up and take him back to the same spot and put him back in that same position instead of luring him back and luring him back into the position itself is so that he understands follow through. We want Apollo to realize that once he's given that stay, if he prematurely breaks away, he will end up back there, and he has to wait until he hears that universal release word of okay.
Okay. Yes.
You will notice there are quite a few similarities between the stay commands and the place command. The biggest difference is that the stays are very structured, so once he's given a sit or a down, he holds that. Even if he's given a sit stay and he lays down, he still has to be picked back up and put back into the sit to follow through with that position. Whereas the place command, he's able to go on the bed, he can walk around, he can do backflips for all I care. As long as he stays on that bed until given that release word, that's exactly what we expect from him.
So for this part of Apollo's go home video, we're going to do his place. Keep in mind he's really young, we are outside, this is a very distracting environment, so he may mess up, and that's fine. I want to show you how to follow through and work through any mess ups or bumps in the road. So first I'm just going to acknowledge the bed, telling him place. No treats, just wait until he gets all the way down there. Good boy. So as soon as I say place and he goes on there and he breaks away, saying and getting him right back on that bed. Again, no treats at the beginning nor throughout this command. And we're not going too far from the bed. Oh, that was an accidental roll off. So I'm just going to pick him up, put him right back on there. Place. That was an accident though, obviously, as you see. And then I'm going to get a little distance. And then eventually I'll say, okay, good boy. And we'll do it again. So the treat is the end reward. Place. And the reason we're keeping these quick and short and not too much distance is to set Apollo up for success. I know where his attention level is, and I want to keep him focused on this command. And if I do it for too long, too quickly, it's going to kind of backtrack. So to set him up for success, not too much distance, not too much time, more so focused on that vocabulary when he goes to step off, saying and getting him right back on there. Scoop him right up. Place. No praise when I have to put him back on there. Place. Okay, good boy. And the reason we don't praise him or lure him back on there is I want to set him up for success down the road of having this strong enough that you can leave the room or get quite a bit of distance. And if I were to sit there and lure him back on, it's going to go over his head. He's going to think he doesn't have to follow through, and we want him to know otherwise. So, Apollo, come. Good boy. Place. So if he protests the bed, just kind of tapping it a little bit. Yes, good boy. And lots of praise when he's a little bit apprehensive of going on there. Good boy. Place. I see his body language. I can say before he steps off, as long as his body language is indicating he's going to come off. Here's some other puppies in the distance. Okay. Good boy. So this is why we are working in short spurts, because he gets really distracted easily because he's so young, and that's fine, but this is what's setting him up for success. Small little introverts of working on this. This will help him down the road of building up that time. Hi. Good boy. He loves training, and we want to keep it that way. Place. So scoop him right up. Place. And this does take lots of repetition. If I kept backing away and he kept breaking off, the best thing to do is keep putting him back on there until he holds it for a few moments, and then I can say, okay, and that's us ending on a good note. We don't want it to be that I give up or I get frustrated, because he will remember that, and we want him to look forward to doing this next time. So we'll do this a few more times. Apollo, yes, good boy. Yes, come here. Place. All the way. Good boy. When he breaks away, scoop him right up. And back on this place. As you hear, there's a lot of distractions. We could have done this inside where I'm able to get more distance, but I wanted to put him in a scenario where he is going to mess up, so you know how to work forward,
he definitely holds it way longer indoors because it's less distraction. But if he can do it in a distracting environment, it'll be much easier on him in a less distracting environment. Place. As you see, I'm getting more and more distance from him, and that's what we want. Okay, good boy. We're gonna do one more, always ending on a really strong note with this. Follow. Ready? Place. And on a really strong note, so I want to get a little bit of distance. Open back up, place. And this is what I meant about following through and repetition. It might take 100 tries of getting him back down there before you can take 2 steps, place. But that's what you have to do sometimes to set him up for success. I'll even stand here and wait till he settles in. And when he does, I'm going to praise him. Good boy. Good praise. Because you can give him as much praise while he's on this bed as you want. You just don't want to give him treats throughout it. And as he gets stronger and more mature with this command, you will then be able to give him a crate safe toy or long-term treat just to help the time pass quicker, because you'll use this command whenever you want him to be content somewhere. So just keep that in mind. As he gets older and stronger, he can have things on the bed with him. But as of right now, we just want him focused on the command. Okay, good boy, good job. So as you see, he definitely has room for growth with this, but he is very young, and you have to go with what are his strengths and his weaknesses. And we want to feed into his strengths, so getting short distance from him, and then giving the release, and then building up on that time. Apollo, come. Yes, that's a good boy. Sit. His recall is very strong though, so that's a really great thing. Everything else he's super strong with. Down. Good boy. So we're going to end this with 1 or 2 more sits and downs. Apollo, sit. Down. Good boy. Apollo, sit. And then lots of praise. Apollo has come quite a long way in his training. He's doing great with everything. He's right on track where he should be with his level of training. He's doing great. So Apollo's definitely going to make you very happy, and he's going to be very excited when he gets home to you guys. Good job. Good job.